YouTube sensation Rudy Mancuso has directed, co-written, and starred in his first feature film, co-starring his current girlfriend Camila Mendes. Let's talk about Musica. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new Amazon Prime film, Musica. This is streaming right now, and it's already the second film just this year on Amazon to feature Camila Mendes. Her star obviously on the rise. But the main man here, Rudy Mancuso, who is a YouTube star, and he's been dabbling in films. He's had a couple of roles in smaller films and some minor roles in bigger films like The Flash. But he directed this, co-wrote it, and stars in it. So this is really his first kind of like big project, and it is a passion project for sure. We're going to launch into all of the specifics here in just a moment. But first, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day I try to post something new. So there's always a lot going on. Please consider subscribing, hit that like button, and comment below. All that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. All right, so I was unfamiliar with this guy, Rudy Mancuso, I have to admit. But he has this show or channel or whatever on YouTube called Awkward Puppets, and he does a lot of the voices for that, and it's sort of his brainchild, and that kind of plays into this film. So the basic premise is that this guy, also named Rudy, who has music in his head. He basically sees music, and everything is kind of beats to him or some kind of a tune, and so that plays out in his head. But we, the audience, do get to see that. But in the meantime, he's got to come to terms basically with what he wants to do with his life as he's trying to balance love, family, and his Brazilian culture while living in New Jersey. He has a very long time girlfriend. I think they're engaged at the beginning of the film, but he meets the Camila Mendes character, Isabella, and kind of falls for her, as he's already kind of broken it off with his current girl, or at least is trying to, but he's having a little bit of difficulty finding the words on that one. We see a really, really awkward dinner engagement with her family, kind of, questioning him and stuff. But he also, is facing some stuff from home because his mother, doesn't want him to do puppeteering. She finds that to be, a dead-end kind of career. And I'm sure the real Rudy got a lot of that growing up. Anything in the arts is always going to be kind of a tough sell, I think, for the family. But something like that, like puppeteering, or, I imagine all those people that go on America's Got Talent that do the what do you call it, the not the miming, but like where you have the puppet on your knee or whatever, like Terry Fader, all that stuff. I mean, that, I guess that's a form of puppeteering, but yeah, I mean, I imagine that has to be a tough sell. So we see a lot of that here in the movie, and he's got sort of a guru of sorts, played by JB Smoove, that he goes to see. He has like a food truck, and so he's sort of his buddy, mentor, whatever, trying to help him out. So all right, this movie is, it's okay. It's got a great premise. I really like this idea that, this character Rudy sees the music, and he sees, notes playing, and, any sounds that he hears. And he actually tries to kind of demonstrate what he's talking about with the Camila Mendes character, and just, okay, close your eyes, and what do you hear? And at the time they were hearing, basketball players over here, and traffic over here, and something in the sky, whatever. So he's like, okay, now I hear that as a melody, and this and that. And she didn't quite get it. I wonder if the real Rudy does kind of hear those melodies and hear that music in his head, while things are going on around him, maybe, or maybe it's just sort of a cute affectation for this character. I don't know, but it's an interesting concept. But unfortunately, the movie sort of devolves into this very, very generic sort of rom-com. There's one pretty long scene where he has to kind of figure out how to break up with his girl, but then he sees the Camila Mendes character at the same restaurant, and it's like, oh God, how do I do this? And it turns into this sort of farce, like sitcom farce, where he's going from table to table and pretending, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, and it's like, wow, this is really sort of generic and routine and done to death. And it really brought the movie down for me. Like up until this, I was like, wow, this could be maybe, an A or an A minus. Like once it sort of devolved into that more generic kind of rom-com even, it's still a positive grade for this movie. But that really brought it down for me. However, I think the direction here is really good. He's a first-time director, and Mick G is one of the producers on this film, and he has done a ton of stuff since the late '90s. He directed a lot of music videos, but he directed the Charlie's Angels movies with Cameron Diaz and all that. So he's got an eye sort of for these big kind of set piece things. And while we didn't necessarily need that here, I think it was nice to have somebody with an eye for, like, okay, here's maybe how you could sort of showcase what this Rudy character is seeing, and in his mind's eye with all the music stuff. And that was played out really well. And I credit his directing with that, because I thought that could have been maybe kind of awkward or cheap looking or corny even, and it wasn't any of that. So I have to appreciate it for that, certainly. But boy, yeah, once it started kind of devolving into more very routine kind of rom-com setups and payoffs, it kind of fell apart for me. I will say he's a pretty good actor. It seems like he's kind of playing himself. I will admit that, but he has good chemistry with Camila Mendes, and her star, like I said, certainly on the rise. And they're currently dating. They're a couple. They met on this movie, so I guess the chemistry was kind of real. Between the takes and whatnot. But overall, I think this is a good movie, but it had so much more potential. So I leave Musica with a B, and that might be generous, but for first time directing, I think the directing was one of the highlights of the movie. So I will have to give it props for that. But if you're interested, you can check this out now on Amazon Prime, and check out Awkward Puppets, I guess, on YouTube. I should do that as well, and kind of see where this guy's coming from. But all right, thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time.